So I want to ask you, what are you devoting your time to? Because what we devote our time to, so when I think of devotion, I think of commitment, I think of where we give our time, where we give our energy, where we give our attention. Because where we give our attention, that's where energy flows, and where energy flows, it grows. So attention is really the currency of the universe. So whatever we are devoting ourselves to, where we are giving our most time and energy, that's going to show up much more in our lives. So if we are devoting all of our time to working ourselves to exhaustion, which is definitely something I used to do, and then devoting all of our time to just watching the TV, which again is something I did quite a lot of when I wasn't working, then we're not going to grow inside. We're not going to feel fulfilled. We're going to stump our growth, and we're going to know that. We're going to feel uncomfortable inside, and then we're going to do things to block out that uncomfortable feeling, like drink more, like smoke more, like take drugs, like shop more, like whatever that is, because the self is trying to communicate and ask for more devotion. So look at where you're devoting your time, and if where you're devoting your time is not bringing you fulfillment, then make some changes, because it's up to us. No one's going to do it for us. We have to make conscious choices to put the self first, to start devoting time to the self. When you start devoting real time to the self, when you start plugging into what brings true fulfillment, true happiness for the self, past all those subconscious programs that keep us locked into fear, like you know, I was in one when I used to work like an idiot. I used to say to myself, well, I've got to do this because I've got a good work ethic. I'm responsible. But it wasn't being responsible, and it wasn't a good work ethic to work 12-hour days, weekends. It was being completely irresponsible to the self. It was damaging the self, and I had to wake up to that subconscious program of lack, of not feeling enough, that was driving me to do that. And as I started to wake up to that program, and I started to challenge and question that program, and I started to put the self first and plug in to the self, everything in my life started to change. I moved onto a higher timeline, a higher path, and I started stepping more into soul alignment. And that's what we do when we start devoting time to the self, to the true self, and connecting to the self, spending time in nature, spending time in stillness, in reflection, bringing into your life, devoted to spiritual daily practices like gratitude. When we devote our time to gratitude, everything starts to change. But we can't do it just once. We can't just do it once and expect everything to change, because that's not how the universe works, and that's not how we work. But we've been massively lied to, indoctrinated, subconsciously programmed into instant gratification. And if we don't get something instantly, then we doubt it, we fear it, we write it off, and we move on to the next thing. But that is not how it works. You know, often what we are desiring, you know, what we are seeking is seeking us as well. Often those desires that have been placed in our heart by God source consciousness, that we've come here to step into, are on their way to us. You know, we've put out those energetic messages, and they're on our way, but often they're just waiting to drop into our reality. But because of doubt, fear, because it's not here instantly, we can't see it instantly, we write it off and we push it away. But if we become devoted to the self, to what makes the self feel good, to following our joy and bliss. And often we don't even know what our joy and bliss is. We have to reconnect back to that. We have to devote time to the self to rediscover what brings us joy, what brings us bliss. As we devote back to that and do it daily practices like gratitude, then things start to just open up and unfold naturally for us. We start to magnetize what we need into our reality. We still have to take action. You know, the spiritual law of attraction that's out there, a lot of it would have you believing that you can just write down what you want, and then it's just going to drop into your lap. But it doesn't work like that. You know, spiritual attraction, action, yes, things will be magnetized to you, people, opportunities, but you have to take action, massive action towards those. But they will come to you so much easier when you start to devote time to yourself, to your spiritual growth through practices like gratitude consistently, you know, through spending time in nature. Nature is a huge one for helping us connect back to the self. So yeah, so have a look at your life. Ask yourself, what am I devoted to? Am I devoted to the TV? Am I devoted to a job that doesn't fulfill me? Where can I take back my power? Where can I make small changes? And it's not about, you don't have to make massive leaps, although you can, but it's just those small daily changes, becoming devoted back to the self. And as you do it, it gets easier, and it's enjoyable to do as well. At first it might feel hard because of the programming in the mind, but the more that you do these daily practices, the more this becomes your being, and you start becoming more connected to yourself, to the universe. Synchronicities are everywhere, and you start to see the world alive and vibrant and vibrating as it is.